Hello everyone, I am Neha Sharma, Assistant Professor of Electronics and Communication Engineering Department in PIMR Indore. So today we will discuss that what is the sequential circuit, which is the part of the unit 3. In sequential circuit, basically logic circuit are of two types. First one is combinational circuit and second one is sequential logic circuit. So in combinational circuit, basically present output depends upon the present combinations of input. That is output depends on the current input. For example, logic gate, half adder, full adder, multiplexer, demultiplexer, encoder, decoder, parity generator, parity checker, magnitude comparator are the example of the combinational logic circuit. While in the sequential logic circuit, the output depends not only the present combinations of input, but it also depends on the past sequence of the input. So, example of the sequential logic circuits are latches, flip-flop, where output depends on the present combination as well as the past combinations of input. So this is the block diagram of the sequential circuit. Sequential circuit can be designed through the combinational circuit and some memory element. In combinational circuit, the outputs are again connected to the memory element through feedback mechanisms. So here output depends on the present combinations of input as well as the past combinations of input. So, in the sequential circuit, the information is stored in the memory element at any given time defines the present state. The present state and the external input determines the output and the next state of the sequential circuit. So, what is the difference between the combinational circuit versus sequential circuit? So, in the combinational circuit, the output of the combinational circuit depends only the present input. Example of the combinational circuits are AND, logic gates, half adder, multiplexer, demultiplexer. While in the sequential circuit, the output of the sequential circuit depends on the present as well as the past output. Here in the combinational circuit, the feedback mechanism is not present, while in the sequential circuit, the feedback path is present. In combinational circuit, memory elements are not required because it doesn't store the past value. In the sequential circuit, memory element plays an important role because it stores the past value as well as the present value. In combinational circuit, clock signal is not required, while in the sequential circuit, clock signal is required. It is easy to design, while in the sequential circuit, it is not simple. It is the designing process is quite difficult. So sequential circuit are basically classified into two types. First one is asynchronous sequential circuit and second one is synchronous sequential logic circuit. In asynchronous sequential logic circuit, memory elements are either unclocked flip-flop or time delay elements. So in asynchronous sequential circuit, we doesn't use the clock. While in the synchronous sequential circuit, memory elements are clocked flip-flop. It means we in the synchronous sequential circuit we use clock, while in the asynchronous sequential circuit we doesn't use the clock. In asynchronous sequential circuit, change in the input signal can affect memory element at any instant of time, while in the synchronous sequential circuit, the change in the input signal can affect memory element upon activation of the clock signals. So whenever the clock signals will be changes, then the output will be changes. While in the asynchronous sequential circuit, output will be changed only when the inputs are changes. The maximum operating speed of the clock depends on the time delay in the synchronous sequential circuit, while in the asynchronous sequential circuit, there are no clock signals are used, so operating speeds are high than synchronous sequential circuit. Synchronous sequential circuit, it is easy to design, while asynchronous sequential circuit, it is difficult to design. So this is the basically difference between the asynchronous and the sequential logic circuit. So first and main important difference is the clock. In asynchronous sequential circuit, we doesn't use clock, while in the synchronous sequential circuit, we use clock. So example of the asynchronous sequential circuit are latches and the synchronous sequential logic circuits are flip-flop. Flip-flop, register, counter, these are the example of the synchronous sequential logic circuit. So what is the difference between the flip-flop versus latch? Flip-flop and latches both can store one bit at a time. So there are two stable state. One is Q and second one is Q bar. So flip flop and latches are the circuits that have two stable state, and both states are complement to each other, that can store state information. Here, since it has two stable states, so in flip flop we use bistable multivibrator circuit. The stored data can be changed by applying varying inputs. Flip flop and latches are the fundamental building block of digital electronic system that is used in the computer, communications, and many other type of systems. And flip flop and latches both are the storage device. So what is the difference between the flip flop and latches? Because flip flop also stores one bit at a time and latches also store one bit at a time, but flip flops are the age triggered while latches are the level triggered. What is level triggered and age triggered? So out in the latches output will be changed only this time when the clocks are the level triggered. So this is the level triggered, this is the positive level triggered clock, and this is the negative level triggered. Okay, what is एज ट्रिगर्ड? मतलब आउटपुट जब ही चेंज होगा जब हम पॉजिटिव क्लॉक देंगे, मतलब इसी एज पर जो है वो आउटपुट की वैल्यू चेंज होगी। तो इस टाइम पर इसको हम क्या बोलेंगे? पॉजिटिव एज ट्रिगर्ड क्लॉक फ्लिप फ्लॉप। इन दिस केस फ्लिप फ्लॉप आउटपुट स्टेट कब चेंज करेगा? जब क्लॉक नेगेटिव एज में होगी, तो इसी स्टेट पर आपकी फ्लिप फ्लॉप की स्टेट चेंज होगी, वाइल इन अदर केसेस फ्लिप फ्लॉप की स्टेट चेंज नहीं होगी। So these are the types of the flip flop. There are basically four types of flip flop. SR flip flop, that is set or reset flip flop. JK flip flop, D flip flop. D flip flop is known as data flip flop. And next one is T flip flop, जिसको हम बोलते हैं toggle flip flop. So what are the applications of the flip flop? Flip flops are basically are used in the counter. That is, it basically used to count the number of clock pulses. Second one is frequency divider circuit. Third one is shift registers. In the next lecture, we will discuss that what is the shift register and how does it works. And next one is storage registers. Okay. Thank you.